Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, this is a really good question how I'm gonna call that. I don't want to call this like Michael 1985's Game of the Year Awards or something like that, because I clearly don't want to use this Game of the Year concept, and do it like everyone else does. First, I don't want to do it because, again, everyone else does it. And second, it actually acquires some work. And me trying to talk with sense or not, out of the blue is kind of a hard thing to achieve. You know me. I like to talk, and I talk what is in my mind at the second. And I will probably do it this way. And when you hear this audio only cast, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is yet another audio online cast. You will pretty much see that I just talk what comes into my mind. This is I wanted to say this is one of two audio only things that I'm gonna upload still in the year 2015. You will probably hear this on December, oh my god, I'm a little bit over the top right now. You're probably gonna hear this audio only file on December the 30th. 30th. Oh my god, my English is pretty bad right now. I have to say that it's pretty early in the morning. I have my coffee right in front of me. Many people wouldn't fucking call this piece of water with condensed whatever. They probably wouldn't even call this coffee, and it is not really coffee. But yeah, I apologize if my voice or if my speaking capabilities are not really well right now, and I hope that as longer as this audio only video doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean, is going, that everything gets better. And on the 31st, I will obviously upload like a Happy New Year video and shit like that. So yeah, this is one of two audio only uploads that I'm gonna do for the rest of the year 2015. And to everyone that survived it until here, we're gonna have some content starting right now. As I said, I will probably call this upload or this video that is audio only, I will probably call it Michael 1985's end of the year gaming festivities or something like that. Like I said, I don't really want to make like a game of the year concept style thing, because I myself, I always have a really tough time to actually decide what was a game of the year for me. I play a lot of games, at least I try to play a lot of games, and getting put into the situation to say, hey, this was my most favorite game of the year, or this is my most favorite game of all time, I really have problems doing that, and I kind of don't want to do this. So what is this shitty audio video about? Well, I'm just gonna ramble a little bit about the games, about stuff that happened in the gaming industry in the year 2015, and I will ramble about games that I really liked. I will ramble about games that I didn't like. I will talk about the gaming industry. I will talk about good things in the gaming industry. I will talk about bad things in the gaming industry. I will talk about things that disgusted me. I will talk about things that made me happy, and so on and so on. I set myself no limits, so if you actually survived the almost 2-hour Ubisoft talk, I wouldn't be surprised if I would be able to top this 2-hour Ubisoft talk with this audio only thing. I don't know. We will see. The cool thing is, like I said it like 10 million times already, this is audio only, so you can fucking hear this shit while you grind in a game, while you have sex with your girlfriend, or while, I don't know, you go to sleep. But I think if you try hearing this while going to sleep, you will probably not be able to sleep because of my voice. But yeah, where do I want to start? I think I'm going to start with games. And I think I'm going to start with games that I played this year and that I liked and maybe didn't like. And there's no preparation here for me. This is coming all, out of the gun, out of the blue. I'm doing this all without. I have nothing in front of me. I have no notes in front of me, so I do this alone from my memory. And there we come to the point already. What games did I play this year? And how much time did I spend with games, and new games especially? I mean, I will probably not limit myself to only games that came out in 2015. I will probably talk about even games that I played in 2015 that maybe came out in 2014. You know what I mean? But if I would need to really limit myself to what I played and to what I think was good or not, it's getting quite hard. I obviously have some titles in my head already, and I would say one of the games that surprised me the most, or not really surprised me, I kind of have a defense mechanism. Like, I'm not gonna hype myself for games anymore. The worst thing that you can do is to hype yourself for games, because let's be honest, in the year 2015, we practically saw everything. And if you hype yourself for a game, in 95% of cases, your hype is getting shattered and you will be disappointed. But during E3 2014, there was a nice little trailer about a game on, I think it was the Microsoft conference. Yes, it was the Microsoft conference. And that trailer put me into a really... The trailer catched me. And I think they didn't show gameplay, they only showed the trailer of that game. And within the 2 minutes of showing the trailer, it catched me. It kind of catched my emotions. The gameplay that was shown was straightforward, but it really catched me, and it took me by my emotions, if I want to say it like that. And the game that I'm talking about is Ori and the Blind Forest. Yeah, what is Ori and the Blind Forest? To sum it up really fast and really amateurish, it pretty much is an action platformer. Metroidvania-ish, 2D style-wise. So pretty much the gameplay is summed up really fast and saying you walk from left to right or from right to left through a semi-open world, I would say. You get new abilities and you fight your way to the end of the game. But yeah, for some reason, the game really catched me. Not only its stunning visuals, if you look at Ori and the Blind Forest on Xbox One and PC. I think there's no PlayStation 4 release, by the way. I don't know if it will come out for PlayStation 4, or maybe there is a PlayStation 4 release, but at least during the complete year of 2015, I think it was PC and Xbox One exclusive. And the game really catched me. It really is just, I'm gonna say it straight out, it is just a standard Metroidvania-ish 2D platformer. There's nothing else there. But the story presentation, that is really minimalistic. And the visuals and the world that they created really touched me, and even, yeah, I think I can say so much without spoiling too much, it motherfucking made me cry. If you play the game, I'm not gonna spoil anything of the game. If you play the game, and if you're not emotionally dead or something like that, be ready to have some handkerchiefs or whatever right next to you, because again, if you kind of invest yourself into this game and into this world of Ori and the Blind Forest, you will probably have to shed some tears. And like I said, gameplay-wise, it's Metroidvania, but the game plays extremely well. Like, every here and then you get new abilities, and later on you kind of get a dash ability, where you can dash from enemies, like through enemies or through orbs to orbs and stuff like that. And the game, especially during the second half of the or especially during the second part of the game, gets an incredibly well done kind of combo stylish gameplay, and it plays ridiculously smooth, and it's incredibly fun. Of course, the game has a level up system, because which game doesn't have a level up system in the year 2015? But it doesn't really feel tacked on and something like that, and the soundtrack is incredibly well done too. Ori and the Blind Forest is, for me personally, maybe, like I said, I don't want to really put a rating or something like that on games, but it probably would be in the top 3 of what I played this year. there is an update coming for the game that kind of makes me sad, or not sad. So Ori and the Blind Forest will get a definitive edition. Yeah, people really like to make definitive editions these times around. I need to drink something. Ori and the Blind Forest is getting a definitive edition. And this definitive edition, I don't even really know exactly what will be 100% different in it. One thing that really is a thing, I don't want to say that it makes me mad or something like that, because I don't have any fucking, I'm not in the place to be mad about something that I don't have any control of. But one of the things that they change in this definitive edition is they want to make the game easier. And this is a fucking goddamn trend that I really dislike. Like, when Ori and the Blind Forest came out, there were a bunch of threads all over the internet. This game is too hard. I would play it if the game wouldn't be too hard. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, what's happened with us gamers that we have people saying that Ori and the Blind Forest is too fucking hard. It's not hard. It probably requires a little bit more skill than, I don't know, your random Mario game. But complaining that the game is hard was one of the big downs for me personally in this year too. And because of all that, not hate, but because of all the voices that were sounded, yeah, good English, one change for the definitive edition of Ori and the Blind Forest that's gonna come in 2016 is that they make the game easier. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is a fucking selling point. Hey, by the way, we make the game easier right now, and now buy the definitive edition because of that. The main game was too hard for you, yeah, you're probably scrubs, but you know what? We're gonna fucking bring out the definitive edition, and we fucking make the game easier because, hell, you wanted to. And this is like a trend that you have in many games. Not that stuff like that is getting sold, but stuff like that stuff is getting patched easier. You see it in so many games that a game comes out in a form, and afterwards there are patches that make games easier. And I think this is a trend, especially if you use that as a selling point, is something that really makes me facepalm, with myself, without offending anyone. Another change that they, I think, gonna do is, like, one of the biggest problems that Ori and the Blind Forest had, obviously it's a Metroidvania game, and one of the many motivations in a Metroidvania game is you play the game through, or you play the game almost until the end, and you want to 100% it. You want to get every single item and shit like that. Like, let's be honest, many people that play Metroidvania games actually want to have a 100% save file in these Metroidvania games. The biggest problem in Ori and the Blind Forest is there are, I think, 2 spots in the game that I'm not gonna spoil right now that are unaccessible after a certain key story point. So it can happen that if you don't get all the items in these locations, that you can't get 100% anymore. And I think this will be done too, or this will be redone too in the definitive edition. There are supposed to be new areas in the definitive edition and new abilities. But as much as as much as I love Ori and the Blind Forest, and as much as I kind of want to support the Moon Studios, they are the developer, I will not support them in getting the definitive edition. I'm sorry, you pretty much sell the same game, probably for the same price, with slight new features that in the year 2005 or 2000 we would have gotten as a free patch. I'm sorry, tuning down the difficulty is not a reason for me to buy or to buy the game again. It's not a fucking selling point for me. A few new areas is not a fucking reason for me to buy the game completely new. And you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not really happy about this decision, and I will definitely pass on the definitive edition, alone for the fact that the game is fucking easier. No, I don't want to play an easier version of Ori and the Blind Forest, because fucking Ori and the Blind Forest was not a hard game to begin with. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. Now I'm kind of starting with a rant here. I don't want to start a rant here about we gamers and what kind of pussies we got, but it's not going in my head how there is any person on this fucking planet that fucking played Ori and the Blind Forest and stopped playing it because it was too hard. I could understand if someone would stop playing a Super Meat Boy. And I wanna be the guy game. Hell, maybe even a Dark Souls or Demon Souls, you know what I mean? I could understand why there are people saying, okay, this is too hard for me. But an Ori and the Blind Forest? I mean, you pretty much can set checkpoints everywhere where you want. Like, there is a checkpoint system in the game where you pretty much decide, here, I want to respawn there. You kind of need to have, like, a bar or something like that gets trained then. But I don't understand this, ladies and gentlemen. There is like 1 or 2 parts that are tough. Yes, they are tough. I think I can say so much, they are escape sequences, okay? Yes, they are tough, and on the first escape sequence that I don't want to spoil, it took me like 10 minutes. Yes, it took me 10 minutes. I was stuck there 10 minutes. Me, Mr. Skillor 2D Jump'n'Run. I was stuck 10 minutes on this path. But I enjoyed getting my ass kicked there, not only because the gameplay was ridiculously awesome at this part. You actually get the dash ability at this point. You can actually dash through the air. The music was so incredibly well done in this part. And when I actually played the game for the second time, I did a part the first time without dying, and I was barely able to enjoy the music. But I guess it really depends how you want to enjoy your games, and if you just want to get entertained without putting any effort into it, I guess the chance is high that you think the game is trash. But again, I don't want to disrespect anyone. If there is someone listening to this right now, please don't, and thinks the game is too hard and thinks that I'm gonna make fun of you right now. I'm not gonna make fun of you. I just have to ask myself, because, you know, I'm probably still stuck up in the 90s, what happened that a game like Ori and the Blind Forest is set or has the reputation of being a hard game. Something like that is not getting in my head. Again, if you want to play Ori and the Blind Forest, and you would ask me right now, hey Michael, should I wait for the definitive edition or not? No, don't wait for it. Get the original edition. And I pray to God, like seriously, I pray to God, but I think that's not gonna happen, that the original edition and the definitive edition will be sold separately. And not that the original edition is getting kicked out of the Steam store and of the Microsoft store, and only the definitive edition will be available. But you know what the problem is, ladies and gentlemen? I'm pretty sure as soon as the definitive edition is coming out, the original version will get shit-canned out of all the stores, and the only version that you can get will be the definitive edition. What means only the people that didn't upgrade from the normal edition to the definitive edition will be able to play the original, or, and now comes the point, you will only able to play the original if you fucking pirate it. And I really hope that both versions are sold separately and not that only one is getting how you call it, sold definitive edition and the original is getting shitcat. I have the feeling they're gonna do it like that. It would be absolutely terrible, and I'm happy that I'm the owner. Well, I'm not the owner because I bought it over Steam and you don't own shit over Steam, but I'm happy that I am the owner of the original version of Ori and the Blind Forest, and I will make sure to never ever upgrade it. By the way, a little bonus: if you own the original version, you get the definitive edition for a cheaper price. So my guess is if you own the original version, you get it for like 50% off or something like that, what is okay. But for the features they actually announce, it is kind of a joke that they actually want to have money there again. But yeah, these are fucking politics. The publisher is Microsoft, the developer is Moon Studios. I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft said, you know what, we're not happy with the sales, make the fucking game easier and resell it. Most of the time decisions like that come from the publisher. But if you put all of this away, play Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm gonna sum it up right now for Ori and the Blind Forest. It's a wonderful 2D Metroidvania style platformer with an awesome atmosphere, awesome visual, an awesome soundtrack, and in my opinion, a really awesome and touching story that is gonna get explained and told in a really minimalistic style. But like, I don't remember when I had a game like that grabbed my feelings like that, and like seriously, like the bad person, or how is it called? The big bad in the game, like God, how is it called? Not protagonist, antagonist. I don't even know if you say that in English. But it is just incredible, the story. Like, if the story is getting unfolded through the course of the game, it's touching, it's disturbing, it's I could start crying right now if I think about it, so I'm gonna stop it. Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest, and I'm a little bit troubled because I'm at 22 minutes already and I talked about one game. Fuck. Maybe I have to split this shitty feature in like 2 parts or something like that. But yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest, thumbs up, play it, and it is a must-play for me in the year 2015. And it was a game that I was slightly hyped about because of the 3-minute trailer they showed in 2014, and I got everything what I wanted to. Some guy that you probably will know, someone that I know, pretty well when it comes over the internet, Trigger14, was actually saying that Ori and the Blind Forest probably replaced his most favorite game of all time. His most favorite game of all time was Donkey Kong Country 2, and he was saying that he likes Ori, like that Ori and the Blind Forest replaced his most favorite game, Donkey Kong Country 2. And I think that means a lot already. If you are open for 2D Metroidvania games, this is a must play. This is a fucking must play. And greetings goes to motherfucking Trigger14. We're gonna get drunk, dude, I think. But yeah, this is another thing. Okay, that was Ori and the Blind Forest. What did I play else? This will be like 4 hours or something like that. If this continues, this would be terrible. Well, another game that I played in the year 2015, and I have to mention Trigger again, was Resident Evil Revelations 2. The good thing is I will probably not gonna put so much time into Resident Evil Revelations 2. What is Resident Evil Revelations 2? Well, it's a Resident Evil game that's not a Resident Evil game anymore. At least that's how I call it, like that. When back in the day the first Resident Evil Revelations came out, people were all saying like, yeah, finally Resident Evil goes back to its roots. And I was standing or sitting there and asking myself, what the fuck are these people talking about? This is not like the old Resident Evils. Yes, it feels a little bit less action heavy than 5 and 6 Revelations, but what the fuck are you talking about? This is not like the old Resident Evils. Until I had a discussion in TeamSpeak one time, I think it was with Trigger again, that said, yeah, Michael, most of the people only talk when they talk about Resident Evil, starting with Resident Evil 4. So they mean, if they say finally Resident Evil is like the old ones again, they mean that finally Resident Evil Revelations is like Resident Evil 4. And yeah, I would definitely agree there. The first Resident Evil Revelations is more like Resident Evil 4 than 5 and 6. But yeah, Resident Evil Revelations 2, a game that came out in episodes. Unlike Telltale games, for example, where they actively develop the episodes while they release the episodes, like The Walking Dead episode 1 came out, and while the first episode was out, they were still working on the game, on the other episodes. Capcom didn't do it like this for Revelations 2. Revelations 2 was done from the get-go. Like, when the first episode was out, the game was done. They just decided to make it a weekly release for some reason. Probably to keep the hype for the game running or something like that. But the episodic format didn't make it worse, because the first Revelations was a full price game, but it came in an episodic format too. Like, the story was told in episodic format. And yeah, there's not much to say about Resident Evil Revelations. If you liked 5, if you liked 6, if you liked 4, if you liked the first Revelations, you probably liked the second Revelations too. It has co-op again. This time around, the co-op is a little bit more limited. And yeah, it takes the standard formula they're gonna do since Resident Evil 4. Nothing special, nothing to forget. And by the way, the raid mode, is kind of like a horde mode-ish style thing that they included in Resident Evil Revelations 1 and then made one in the second one too, was absolutely terrible. Many people were saying that like raid mode was like the best thing ever in 2. And I have to say, did you really play this shit? No, raid mode was absolutely terrible. I played Resident Revelations 2 alone for the story, because I'm a sucker for the Resident Evil story, but I'm not a sucker for the Resident Evil story because I think it's ultra mega awesome sauce in terms of, oh, the story is so believable. I'm a sucker for the story of Resident Evil Revelations because it's so fucking ridiculous. It's like a B movie. No, it's a C movie. No, it's a D movie. You know what I mean. But yeah, is it a must play? Hell no. Even if you're a fucking Resident Evil fan, it's not a goddamn must play. Like, seriously. Easily forgettable, the game. Unfortunately, like with many Resident Evils that came out within the last years, that you play and forget them. But let's be honest, I will probably gonna make an own feature about that. This is how kind of gaming culture is right now. Play and forget. Fast food gaming. We play so much games that we don't even fucking remember the games anymore that we played. But yeah. Resident Evil Revelations 2, a game that I played a lot in the year 2015. For some reason, I think I had 50 hours on Steam. Please don't ask me why. And I didn't even play raid mode that much. But yeah, it's definitely not something that you have to play. A really forgettable game, and in fucking 1 year, no one is fucking remember that game anymore. Yeah, that was Resident Evil Revelations. Another thing that I did a lot in the year 2015, and that really has nothing to do with gaming or with current released games in general. I played a lot of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64 and Super Mario 64 for the N64. Yeah, why did I do it? Speedrunning. I kind of am a big fan of speedrunning. I think speedrunning, if you have the time to dig yourself deep into the field of speedrunning, you can have a lot of fun with it. And I think at the beginning of the year, if you were watching my shitty stream, you saw me playing Mario 64 with Trigger and with Brooks a lot, because we made like some races because we speedrun Mario 64. And in the year 2015, speedrunning Mario 64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time took a lot of time of my time, if you want to say it like that. And yeah, it is just incredibly fun to learn all these glitches, especially in an Ocarina of Time. Hell, in 2012 or 11, I don't even know, no, I think it was 12, I like decided to learn MST speedrunning Ocarina of Time. And of course, it's a lot of work. Of course, it's like incredibly hard to do. But as soon as you notice that you get better, and as soon as you notice that you fucking make these one fucking frame tricks flawless, it's an incredibly awesome feeling, you know, to achieve always and always better times. Unfortunately, I can't really put myself through and take it extremely seriously. Like, it is completely impossible for me to take speedrunning so seriously that I could ever really get consistent in any time or whatever. You know what I mean? That's just not gonna work for me. This is pretty impossible for me, because it takes so much dedication to get perfect at a game that requires like pixel perfect jumps, precision, frame perfect tricks and shit like that I've never really got around like perfecting stuff. Like, I probably learned like 100 hours of Ocarina of Time MST and I never did really something with it. You know what I mean? I've never really did something with it. Like, it's like, you know, you learn a language and you never use it. It kind of feels terrible. You know, it kind of feels terrible, like learning something and then never using it. Like in school, when you have math classes, you know, where you learn all that shit with geometry and you know what I mean. Let's be honest, 98% of people never use that crap, and this is pretty much the same feeling that you spend time on something but you never really do something with it. What brings me to kind of an idea. Maybe I'm gonna make a special series about Ocarina of Time where I play through the game speedrun wise and explain the tricks that you do a little bit. That is something that I just came up with, and I think that could even be fun to watch at one point. I need to think about that. I really need to think about that, but I like the idea. But yeah, obviously Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64, no releases of the year 2015, but both games took an awful lot of time in the year 2015 for me, from me, because I played it so much, and it was incredibly fun. And one of the reasons why it was fun is because, hell, I was sitting in TeamSpeak with Trigger and Brooks a lot, and we were like training, especially Mario 64. We were like training, we were talking, we were making practice races and shit like that. It was a lot of fun doing that, and I kind of missed it. It was incredible fun, and greetings goes to Hitler. Hitler, I hate you. And I'm pretty sure that if you didn't see the Super Mario 64 speedruns, you have no fucking idea what I mean with Hitler. But yeah, Hitler is the worst, and we're not talking about World War II Hitler or Nazi Hitler. We talk about a different Hitler. But yeah, this will be our little secret. And yeah, Hitler in Super Mario 64 is the fucking worst. Okay. What did I still play? That's a good question. Like, it is kind of painful. It is kind of painful that I really have to think already what games I really played in the year 2015. You know, in the year 2015, that really catched me, and I really mean it, catched me. Well, I played Tokyo School Life. Yeah, Tokyo School Life. What is Tokyo School Life? We all know visual novels. Unfortunately, visual novels kind of have like the reputation of being games for dirty old bastards that are sitting in their fucking basement and never talk with women. Let's be honest, 99% of visual novels are perverted, are fucking about sex, and are obviously aimed at the perverted nature of us. But Tokyo School Life was a visual novel that got released on Steam that I enjoyed a lot, and I think when I still streamed, the people enjoyed it a lot. You can't really call it a really in-depth visual novel. Tokyo School Life is really... I would say if you never played a visual novel in your life, Tokyo School Life is like a good visual novel to begin with. It is extremely limited in its story, and sometimes it feels extremely clumsy. I don't know if you can say that about the game or something like that. But at the same time, it kind of had its own charm, and the 3 chicks that you were able to win their hearts over were kind of cute, I have to say. And I want to make one thing perfectly clear, ladies and gentlemen. Sakura all the way, because let's be honest, it would be too boring if you don't fucking live with the fact that someone could fucking stab you in the back at every single second that you breathe. Yeah, Tokyo School Life, I think I played that game for like 20 hours. All of that was on stream. And I have to thank the people that went on a donation rampage while me playing Tokyo School Life. I think I got donated like... in the 6 or 7 days that I played Tokyo School Life, I got like $1,000 or something like that in donations. So when it comes to donations, this game seemed to be the absolute fan favorite. At the same time, most of the people that probably saw me playing the game thought that I'm a fucking pervert, but I'm gonna give a fuck about that. Obviously, the game, like 99%, unlike 99% other games of its genre, visual novel genre, didn't have any sex scenes because it is getting sold on Steam. I think it's like €15 or something like that without a sale. I have to say it is worth it. It was worth it for me personally. But again, it is a really limited, and I would even say non-special visual novel. The cool thing about it is that it is completely animated. Normally visual novels, at least 99% of them, have still images that changed, but Tokyo School Life had kind of an animation going on with it, with the characters moving and shit like that. Plus the soundtrack was okay too, but again, not really an incredibly special game, I have to say. So, what did I play else? Well, I think it's a 2014 release, at least an end 2014 release. Let me actually check that out. But yes, I have to confess, I played a game. Yes, it's 1st December 2014, but I mainly played it this year when it was on a sale. Yeah, I have to confess, ladies and gentlemen, I played a lot of The Crew. Don't ask me why I played a lot of The Crew. I probably played The Crew, let me look at Steam. I kind of don't want to say it, like seriously. I really, really don't want to say it because it is terrible. But I think I played The Crew for like 50 hours or something like that. Why don't I have The Crew on my Steam? Is The Crew gone? Did they delete the game? I mean, not that I would miss it or something like that. Ah, there's The Crew. Oh, 39 hours. Only 39 hours and not 50 hours. Yeah, why did I play The Crew? I have no idea. There was a point this year where I was going through a lot of rough times. Well, I'm still kind of going through rough times, but at that point it was incredibly bad. And The Crew was just the perfect time waster. I I just set myself in front of it, grinded out achievements, grinded out awards in game, was sitting in TeamSpeak talking with people that were on TeamSpeak. Again, here Brooks and Trigger, for example. But there are other people who were on TeamSpeak too, like Nuvius38 and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I have to say, don't play the fucking Crew. I mean, the Crew is a terrible game. It's like an MMO. Like, the Crew is getting advertised as an MMO, okay? But it's not an MMO. It's a fucking game that says it's an MMO, but all it does is, like, it limits you in every way possible to be an MMO. The Crew is, when it comes to the gameplay and when it comes to the game design, one of the worst fucking games ever created. Trying to get multiplayer up and running in an MMO where you have to go through lobbies and then you have to wait ages. Okay, maybe that was a problem of the PC version, but still. And then you have disconnects, then you have people. It's a terrible game. Overall, it is a terrible game. The only good thing that the Crew really has is the big world that is incredibly fun to explore at the beginning, like that miniature America, what they did, is pretty well done. And this is pretty much the only thing that the game has to offer, that the overall world that they created in this single-player MMO, how I'm gonna call it now, is pretty well done. But the game itself is not special. The gameplay is incredibly limited. Well, it's a racing game. What can you do besides racing? The game is plastered with collectibles, all time consuming shit that doesn't take any time to develop, but lengthens the game time. And yeah, for some reason, it's one of my most played games this year. Yes, you can flame me for that. But again, I just did it to fucking waste my time, because I went through some shitty times there, and it was a good game to, talk with people in TeamSpeak. They obviously jokingly made fun of you because you played it so much, and go through the rough times without crying too much. But yeah, I would rather say that the Crew, again, it's a 2014 release, but it came out on the 1st December 2014, so yeah, it's almost 2015 there. The Crew is a terrible game. It's not even fucking worth, I don't know. I think I paid like €13 or something like that when it was on sale. Yeah, rather play some other racing games than the Crew, and this one definitely doesn't get any recommendation from me. Not a good game. Yeah, that's really hard. It is really, really hard to remember what I played. Well, we can go a little bit to the console territory. Console-wise, what did I play there? I think console-wise, at least when it comes to 2015 releases, there is not much either. Well, first of all, I don't own a current generation console. What is an Xbox One or an PlayStation 4 for the 1 or 2 games that are out on either platform. I don't see any reason to buy one. Hell, I'm fucking interested in Bloodborne. And Bloodborne could probably be my Game of the Year favorite, because, hell, I just like the whole Souls game concept. And it seems Bloodborne did a few things different and spiced stuff up, but of course I didn't play it. And another game that I'm interested in on Xbox One is Forza Horizon 2, but I think that was an 2014 release anyway. But yeah, I would say the only 2 games that I really played on console that I really remember are Splatoon. I still think that Splatoon sounds like an interracial porn movie, but that's just my thinking. And Super Mario Maker. And I would say we're gonna talk about these 2 games for now. Blah. Drinking cold coffee is always a bad thing to do. Splatoon and Mario Maker, ladies and gentlemen. Disclaimer, and this disclaimer goes to Trigger. Trigger skip the next 5 till 10 minutes because I'm gonna talk about Splatoon right now, and I'm pretty sure you know already what I think about Splatoon. So, yeah, this is a little insider joke between Trigger and me. Yeah, Splatoon. How do I start with Splatoon? I think Splatoon actually got in the Game of the Year awards. It actually got best multiplayer or something like that. I'm not sure about that anymore. But first of all, Splatoon is fine, ladies and gentlemen. The whole game is fine, and I would even go so far and say I love the shit out of the game. But first, I want you to put your attention to something else. Isn't it weird that in the year 2015, where humanity expanded so much when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to variety, when it comes to technology, that a game like Splatoon with its gameplay is pretty much the most special thing what happened to multiplayer shooters? Isn't that kind of like a sad statement about the gaming industry? What are multiplayer shooters in the year 2015, 14, 13, 12, 11, or 10? They are mostly military shooters. Let's just think about it. We have military shooters. We have Battlefield. We have Call of Duty. We have Medal of Honor that no one plays. Well, we have Gears of War, that is obviously a third-person shooter that is quite popular, but in the end, it's the same shit. We have, God, I don't even know fucking multiplayer shooters anymore because I'm so fucking bored of this genre. Add 10 million different multiplayer shooters to the mix because I don't know anymore. But isn't it kind of weird that it is Splatoon that mixes it up a little bit? In the end, Splatoon is the same. You shoot people. But the fact that the main goal in a Splatoon is mostly not getting kills. Of course, getting kills in a Splatoon is incredibly important too, because if you kill someone from the other team, they have to respawn and they have less time to paint the map. But the whole idea to put the focus not on killing the enemies, but painting the map in your color while the other team does it with their color, pretty much was the biggest innovation in a shooter game in years. And I think this is a sad statement for the current state of shooters. And kind of shows to me again that I'm pretty right with the statement of saying that everything these days, or most stuff that comes out these days, is mass-produced conveyor belt bullshit. But yeah, that was just a little side thought here. But yeah, what is Splatoon? Like I said, Splatoon is all about, it's like was it 4v4? It was 4v4, was it? You were able to play 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. It's a team-based game where, like I said, in the main mode, the goal is it to paint the map that you're on with your color. And in the end, not the amount of kills were important to win a game as a team. The amount of colored map in your color was important at the end of the game. And I have to say, I think I played Splatoon. It was during the E3 week. Especially, I think we played it a lot. We probably overplayed it too. Especially like I think Speedstar was with it. Speedstar, that motherfucker that was in TS for like 2 days there and then never appeared anymore because he was too lazy to speak or something like that. But yeah, greetings goes to Speedstar. Then Trigger obviously played it with us. Samson of Spite was within the mix. And a lot of other people from the viewers. Brooks wanted to play it with us, but for some reason his internet always disconnected when he started Splatoon. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But the biggest problem in Splatoon was that you were not able to team up. Okay? So Splatoon is a team game. Okay? It is a team game. You play it mostly 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4. And at the release of Splatoon, there was no way to go into a party and team up to play against other people. What meant people were able to join your games, but they needed to join your games while you were in the game, and it was easily possible, and most of the time it was like that the 4 people that you played with were split between teams. It was then like that a Trigger was alone in a team against a team of me, Samson of Spite, and Speedster. And that was an incredible, stupid way of designing the game. But now many people will say, but Michael, after like 2.5 months, they brought out a patch that brought in a squad system. And hell yeah, after 2.5 months, they brought out a patch that put in a squad system into the game. Trigger, me, everyone that played it was happy about it. The patch came out, we fired it up, and what happened? What the fuck happened? We had a party of 4 people. I think it was Speedster, Samson, Trigger, and me again. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same constellation. We fired it up, we were in a 4-team squad. Or was it a 3-team squad? I don't know it anymore that much. But then I think it was a 4-team squad. We were in a 4-team squad, and what happened in our first game? We were put against a team of 3 people. And I was like, okay, what is this? Well, maybe matchmaking fucked up. So we played that round and won like crazy. Like 4 versus 3 in Splatoon. Like, you have to be really bad if you lose that. We're gonna team up again. Gonna go into matchmaking again. Again, we're gonna play against 3 people. And the next match the same. The next match the same. On the 5th or 6th match, we finally had a team against 4 people. But 9 out of 10 matches, the teams were uneven. And then we looked into the options menu or something like that, or with the squad battle, where it said if you wanted to make a 4-player team, that it can happen that you only get put against a 3-player team. Because obviously the amount of 4-player teams that are playing in Splatoon are less than 3-player teams. And this completely destroyed the game for me. I'm sorry. Yes, you can say what you want about Splatoon. Many people were saying, but Michael, it's not a competitive game. It doesn't need to be a competitive game. Even as a casual game, you don't want to fucking play 3v4. Even from a casual standpoint, you don't want to do this. Do you? No, you don't. The whole squad system that they implemented within like 2 months, they took 2 months to implement the squad system, was flawed in its core and completely destroyed the game for you. It made me so mad and destroyed the game so much for me that the Trigger was not able to hear me bitching about it anymore, that he always fucking went out of the channel in TeamSpeak when I was bitching about it. And I'm pretty sure if Trigger hears that right now, he's like, oh god, not again. But yeah, Splatoon, as much as I like the core game of it because of stupid politics Nintendo-wise, it got completely destroyed for me. Plus the whole update politics, you know, how Nintendo said, oh, Splatoon is our main thing right now, and we're gonna support the game the complete year. Yeah, what was the support of the game in the complete year? They pretty much locked content on disk and unlocked that content week after week. It pretty much was on disk DLC, but to be fair, that you don't need it to pay for. I want to make that clear. They didn't go the way as a Capcom back in the day, making on-disc DLC where you needed to pay like $10 and they sent you a little bit of byte data to unlock it from the disc. They just locked the content and you don't need it to pay for it. But let's be honest. Everyone can do that. I can fucking create a game, have the complete game on disk, ship it, and then say, hey, I'm gonna support the game for the complete year because I don't have to do anything besides week for week sending a few bytes via the Nintendo network to the people that own Splatoon to unlock more and more features of the game. The game got shipped with like 4 or 5 maps that were unlocked. There were more maps on the disc already. And all this shit that was on the disc got unlocked after a certain time. And I can only explain that myself for they wanted to keep the game alive. If you unlock new and new features every week, you hope as a publisher to keep the game alive longer. If they would have unlocked everything from the beginning, the chance would have been high that the game would have been dead after a month of release. But with these politics, they kind of hoped that the interest in Splatoon was, still there even after a month. And I guess the politics actually worked. Again, I don't really want to bitch about that because unlike other companies, Nintendo at least did it without an extra price. But in the end, it was on-disc DLC that you don't need to pay for. So yeah, overall, I have to say, I would still give Splatoon for the amount of time that I played it and for the amount of fun that I had. Because I clearly had fun with Splatoon. I incredibly had a lot of fun with Splatoon. I would still give it like a thumbs up and say, yes, I paid like €30 for it. For the amount of money that I paid and for the amount of time that I spent with it, I have to say it was definitely worth to play. I have no idea if it's still worth to play now at the end of 2015, half a year after release. I have no idea if the game still is active as it was at the beginning. But yeah, unfortunately, Splatoon is the perfect example for me how you can pretty much undersell a game because of stupid decisions and limiting stuff. So again, the game itself was fine, the game itself was incredibly funny, but the mechanics, some of the mechanics they added, like I said, the squad system, the fact that they pretty much locked stuff they locked stuff on disk that you got for free, I want to mention that again, but still, they pretty much sold, we're gonna update the game until the end of the year. Like, they were like, hey, we actively developing the game until, no, you were not actively developing. The only thing that you were doing was sending every week a few bytes to the owner's Wii U to unlock the content on the disc. That's not fucking updating, you know what I mean? You fucking took 2.5 months to input a squad system that was broken from the beginning. But yeah, Splatoon, a fun game. And again, let's be honest, I'm gonna say it again, and this speaks for this industry in general. It is sad that Splatoon pretty much was the game that revolutionized the multiplayer shooter genre. But let's be honest, it kind of did in a way. That's the fucking reason it got the Game of the Year award from this game show from Geoff Keighley. Because it was different. It was not your standard, oh yeah, I'm a fucking steroid junkie like in Gears of War, shoot everyone to death. Oh yeah, I'm a fucking soldier in Call of Duty Battlefield. It was something different. But the difference in the game, that it speaks for this industry in how much of a standstill we are gameplay-wise, that the Splatoon, was the most innovative shooter in ages. But yeah, still, Splatoon, a cool thing, and if they ever decide to bring out another Splatoon, probably not for the Wii U, because the Wii U is dead right now, but maybe for the NX or something like that, I really hope they learn from their mistakes and this time around do it a little bit differently. And please, if you bring out another Splatoon, implement a proper squad system. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, the other game that I played console-wise was, of course, Super Mario Maker. And unlike with Splatoon, I personally have to say, I personally think Nintendo did a lot right with Super Mario Maker. When Super Mario Maker got announced, I was like, oh yeah, cool, you can make your own Mario levels. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, great Nintendo. Now, 15 years after people started making Mario levels on PC with Luna Magic and ROM hacks, you decide to give the people the opportunity to make their own levels. Wonderful, Nintendo. I was really talking like that. I was like, what is so special about that? Holy shit, I fucking played ROM hacks in 2005, from people. Like, there's nothing special about it. But when the game came out and when I really played it, I was blown away. I was blown away. Hell, I played the fucking game when it came out, I think for 24 days straight. Every fucking single day for like 6 till 8 hours. And I didn't play it because, during that time on Twitch, I got like 2,000 viewers or something like that. I didn't do it because of viewer whoring or something like that. I did it because I was extremely addicted to the game. And why was I extremely addicted to the game? Because Nintendo did everything right. They gave the power, they gave the stylus, they gave the tools to the creative people out there, and every motherfucking person can make a Mario Maker level. Like, it is genius how fucking easy it is to create levels. Like, seriously, everyone can create levels. I can create levels. You can create levels. A fucking 5-year-old can create a level with this game. You know what I mean? Probably, I don't know. Uh, a dog could create a level. That's how easy it is. And this was one thing where I was really afraid of. At the beginning, I was like, oh my god, Super Mario Maker has to be extremely limited because of how easy it is to make the levels. It is practically drag and drop. Nothing else. You don't have to program anything. You don't have to program anything. Everything is drag and drop. Everything is getting self-explained. And this is what Nintendo does well. Their ways of teaching you game mechanics is incredibly well done, and you get really well taught in how to work with the level editor. And at the beginning I was really like, okay, seriously, you only have like 6 or 7 rows of objects that you can place, plus you are extremely limited in what you can do. Like, yeah, I can't really put it into words right now. But let me say it like that: you couldn't really rebuild like a Mario game, like Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World. You couldn't really rebuild these games with Super Mario Maker because you have elements missing out of the game, out of these games, and you have stuff gameplay mechanic wise that you can't do. But hell, in these 23 days, 24 days that I played it, and now, I mean, shameless plug, I am actually doing a series right now on my YouTube channel here with Super Mario Maker, so you can check that out if you want. But the amount of levels that are getting generated, and with that I mean the amount of awesome levels. Of course, 98% of the levels are pure garbage because 98% of the people don't really care about making a proper level or something like that. Play the 100 Mario challenge and you get average levels. There's nothing else to say about that. But it's user-generated content. And if you give millions and millions of people the ability to make something, of course there is millions and millions of shit. But during these millions and millions of shit, there are thousands and 10,000s of awesome things. And the amount of levels that I played in Super Mario Maker, the amount of innovation I saw from people that make levels is incredible. And let's be honest, you have to say Super Mario Maker is that successful not because of Nintendo. Yes, Nintendo gave the people the tools, but that's it. Super Mario Maker is that successful and is that fun because of all the people that make kick-ass levels for the game. Nintendo gave the people the tools, but the people are making the game how it is. And I thank every single person that makes Super Mario Maker levels. I don't care if you make bad levels, I don't care if you make medium levels, I don't care if you make hard levels or impossible levels. I thank every single person for making and supporting Super Mario Maker like that. And I'm so incredibly surprised about the long term. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again at the beginning of this blog when I talk about Super Mario Maker. I was really like, oh, Super Mario Maker, wow, Nintendo. You're doing like that. You're finally giving people the chance to make their own levels, something that you were able to do on PC since 15 years. But they did it for the masses, and the amount of content that is coming out of this game is incredibly awesome. And Nintendo is still supporting the game. They added checkpoints now. It seems they want to add new objects at one point, and this is a good thing. And this time around, it is not this disc locked updates. They actually actively work to make the game an even fucking better experience. And the only biggest problem that I see is with how unfortunately the Wii U bumped in terms of sales. And hell, let's be honest, even Nintendo gave up on the Wii U. Will we still be able to play the game in 2 years? I mean, let's be honest, there is no need for another Super Mario Maker. They gave you the tools. They gave you the tools. There is no need for Super Mario Maker 2. Because, why? What do you want to add? Well, you could add Super Mario Bros. 2 USA version, or maybe Yoshi's Island or something like that, but you can do that through patches. You know what I mean? So, how will they handle Super Mario Maker when the Wii U is dead in the water? And let's be honest, let's be totally honest here, ladies and gentlemen. When the NX is coming out, the Wii U is dead. No one will care about the Wii U anymore. And how we all know Nintendo, I'm pretty sure they will put off the Wii U of life support. So the only thing that they can do, and I hope Nintendo, I beg you that you do that. Like, if you don't do that, you are fucking retards. Like, Nintendo, you built yourself, or you made people build an incredible community with Super Mario Maker. It's an incredible community, like, seriously. When the NX comes out, Nintendo, if you are smart, you're doing this. When the NX comes out, Nintendo, yeah, to make sure that Super Mario Maker is not gonna die and that people don't need to have their console anymore because they probably don't only use the Wii U for Super Mario Maker anyway. Make it like that, Nintendo. You bring out the NX and everyone, and you make Super Mario Maker a start title for the NX. You make Super Mario, you just port Super Mario Maker from the Wii U to the NX. It's a start title. With that, you have, yeah, granted, an old system seller, but a system seller, and you give everyone that owns Super Mario Maker the game for free on NX. That means that everyone that supported the fucking game on the Wii U is getting rewarded for their support for you, Nintendo. They can play the same game on the NX. Plus the new people that still want to play Super Mario Maker and decide to buy an NX, that they don't have to fucking buy a Wii U just for Super Mario Maker. Nintendo, if you are smart, you're doing this. If you are smart. The problem is, will the NX have the Wii U gamepad support? For Super Mario Maker to work, it needs to have the Wii U gamepad support. Will it have it? I don't think so. I don't know. And I don't think they would implement it just for Super Mario Maker or something like that. But at this point, at this time of the recording, and that's the 30th December 2015, we don't have any information about that. But Nintendo, think about it. Just think about it. Super Mario Maker is one of your biggest titles, I would say, within the last 5 years. People are supporting the shit out of Super Mario Maker. And Nintendo, you know yourself that you put off live support of the Wii U as soon as the NX is out. You know that. Do you want Super Mario Maker to die off? Yes, you will still have people playing Super Mario Maker on Wii U, but many people, if they change from one generation to the next generation, they sell their old console. Not many people keep all the consoles that they buy. They just fucking change from generation to generation. So the smartest thing for you to do is to port Super Mario Maker on the NX, give it to everyone for free that owns it on the Wii U, and still sell it for people that don't have it on the NX. Do this, Nintendo. Do this, Nintendo. If you don't do this, you are plain stupid. Because Super Mario Maker is your thing right now. You know it yourself, what kind of boom Super Mario Maker got. Reviewers, people on the internet calling it their game of the year 2015. And you know what? I said I'm not gonna say what my game of the year 2015 is, but I'm gonna say it. Yes, Super Mario Maker is the game that brought me the most joy in fucking 2015. And Super Mario Maker is my game of the year 2015. And I'm not the only one thinking like that. I'm not the only one thinking like that, Nintendo. You gave the tools to the people, you gave the tools to the masses, and it boomed incredibly, and it is extremely well done. And you can support this game until the end of the world. Nintendo, do you want this game to just disappear after 2 years? If you do it right, in 50 years, people would still play Super Mario Maker because it has unlimited possibilities. Think about it, Nintendo. You will probably never hear this audio thing ever, but think about it. I think I talked now like 10 minutes about Super Mario Maker, and I have to say, yeah. It brought me the most joy. I think I spent 200 hours within a month in it. I mean, you have to think about it. 200 hours played within a month. Like, I woke up, started streaming, played Super Mario Maker, stopped streaming, went to bed, and did this like for 25 days. An incredibly well done game, and you can see it on this shitty YouTube channel. Super Mario Maker is actually an ongoing series right now, and I don't plan to end it soon because it is unlimited fun. It is freaking unlimited fun, and Nintendo should capitalize on this support that the game gets. But yeah, I think I put out my message here, and Super Mario Maker, double thumbs up, triple thumbs up, whatever. Awesome game. Again, I didn't see it as something special at the beginning. I really did not. But I got hooked instantly. And I'm not on the level creator side. I'm just the guy that plays levels. Like, you know. I'm just a guy that plays levels, and you find every type of level. You find puzzle levels. You find ridiculously hard levels, Kaizo levels. You find standard levels that could be in a standard Mario game. Hell, you find trash levels. You find everything in Super Mario Maker. So with that, I think I'm gonna stop the monologue about Super Mario Maker. Too much hype for this game. But if you have a Wii U, play Super Mario Maker. Like seriously, if you have a Wii U and you don't have Super Mario Maker, I kind of have to ask, why do you own a Wii U? So I guess everyone that owns a Wii U actually has Super Mario Maker. So yeah, again Nintendo, think about porting the game to the NX. Just think about it. Keep the game alive. Don't let it die off with the death of your old console. Because I know Nintendo, Wii U and NX will not coexist. They will not. This is as sure as, I don't know, us dying at one point. But yeah, with that, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a sip of water because I'm kind of getting a headache here. with that, I think I'm done with console games. Am I done with console games? I mean, I don't have a next generation or current generation console. Well, I bought a PS TV. But well, I'm playing Persona 4 Golden right now, but this is obviously not the 2015 release. This is a 2012 release. But hell, if you have a PS TV or a PS Vita, get Persona 4 Golden. It is as good as the original on PlayStation 2 with added features. Persona 4, a wonderful experience, but I'm not gonna say more about that because I don't really want to include that one. Yeah, I think console-wise, that was it. Yeah, I think yes. Mario Maker, Splatoon. There was no really big release on 360 or PS3 because these consoles are pretty much done for. Well, Yakuza 5 finally came out, at least digital. Can't say anything about that. But yeah, console-wise, that was it. Then I would say we're gonna go back to the PC list. And yeah, a game that clearly didn't come out 2014. Well, you could kind of say that the game came out 2014, at least in its re-release version. But yeah, another game that really catched me, or in general, a franchise that catched me within the last year. I obviously started playing the first game in 2014, but I kind of want to... I'm gonna add every game into that. I'm gonna talk about Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, and Demon Souls. I started playing the game end of 2014. Dark Souls, I think I played in November 2014. Dark Souls 2, I played on stream, I think in April or something like that. I don't even know anymore. And right now, I actually have, shameless plug, Dark Souls 2 series going on where I play without a shield, without magic and everything on this YouTube channel, so you can check it out. And I have to say, yeah, the year 2014 pretty much was dominated for me by the Souls games. I don't know if I should go too much into detail when it comes to the Souls games. I didn't play Scholar of the First Sin. Dark Souls 2 got a re-release a year later with Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, where the game finally runs on 60 FPS and whatever. Well, for people that played it on PC, that kind of was unnecessary because on PC the fucking game was running on 60 FPS already. But yeah, that's another topic. And yeah, the Souls games. What is there to say about the Souls games? I think I said it on another video one time. The Souls games are, for me personally, I would go so far and say it's one of the best new IPs that got produced within the last 10 years. The overall game design of the game is so rewarding. The overall concept of the game is rewarding. It is a tough game. I still dislike. I don't agree with people that say that the Dark Souls or the Souls games are ridiculously hard. I'm sorry, I'm not agreeing with that. Like, the Souls games kind of got the reputation of being ridiculously hard games. No, I'm not agreeing. And I think I come back there to the talk that I had at the beginning with Ori and the Blind Forest. Only because you have to put effort into something, a little bit more effort into something, that makes it ridiculously hard. Dark Souls is just not your standard RPG. Like, so many games, like The Witcher, for example, has a pretty straightforward fighting system. The Gothic series has a pretty straightforward, like pretty much all RPGs have a fighting system where you go to a fucking enemy, you press a few buttons, and the enemies are falling down, and you barely got hit or something like that. Only because you have to try a little bit harder in the Souls games doesn't make it ridiculously hard. And that's what I love about the Souls games. You can't just run in blindly anywhere like you can in 99% of the other games. You can't. Like, while in another game, I can fight against 10 enemies at once. When I play Dark Souls or Demon Souls the first time and fight against 10 enemies at once, I will die instantly because they fucking they fucking overpower me. You need to play this game with strategy. You need to play this game with caution. And Jesus Christ, the boss fights are so incredible. And especially the Souls games bring something back that pretty much is barely in this industry anymore. Boss fights. I mean, which games in the year 2015, 14, 13, 12 still have boss fights? Let's be honest, ego shooters don't have fucking boss fights anymore, because most of the time, if you make a boss fight in an ego shooter, they are plain terrible. And most boss fights in even other games that have boss fights are not interesting too. But the boss fights in Dark Souls or in the Souls series in general are so extremely well done and rewarding to play, especially if you decide to play the games without the shield. Yes, I played every fucking single Dark Souls game, or every single Souls game I played with a shield. That was my first playthrough. My first playthrough in every single Souls game was with a shield. And it was incredibly satisfying. But the most satisfaction I get out of the Souls games without the ability of blocking. Like the adrenaline and the feeling that you get while playing the game without a shield, with you only being able to dodge the attacks, it fucking ups the gaming experience tenfold. I've never, ever even touched magic in any of the Souls games. I don't even know how to fucking cast magic in Souls games. I have no fucking idea why, because I don't want to even try magic. I saw videos how easily you can cheese bosses and something like that with magic attacks, and I don't blame anyone that uses magic to play through the Souls games. Everyone should play how they want to. You have like people saying, "Oh, you're using magic, you're a fucking noob, me. Fuck you, shut the fuck up, or I'm gonna come to you and fucking rip your head off," or something like that. No, let the people play how they want, yeah? Don't be a fucking retard, and only because someone doesn't play the game as you play it, flame him or something like that. At the same time, as much I love the Dark Souls or the Souls games, at the same time, I dislike the Souls community. The Souls community is one of the most bashful and how to say it without being too insulting, the most bashful and hateful community ever. Like, seriously, like, so many people, if you don't play it the way they played it, they say, "You play it wrong. You play it wrong. That's not how you're supposed to play the game." Like, I played through Dark Souls 2, and if you saw my Dark Souls 2 stream, I went through Dark Souls 2 like a hot knife through butter. This is not, this is not me putting my dick on the table right now and my balls, saying how fucking awesome I am. It just wasn't. I think I played Dark Souls 2 and I first tried 25 plus bosses. I literally never really lost souls in Dark Souls because I barely died. And I had people saying to me, "You play the game wrong." And I was like, wait, I'm not dying and you say I play the game wrong? Like, they were pissed because I was not dying at boss fights, because I was making 90% of the boss fights first try. They were fucking pissed about that. Why the fuck are you pissed about that? If you don't have the amount of brain meat to actually play with strategy, then it's not my fucking mistake, you know what I mean? I got my ass kicked on the first Dark Souls. The first Dark Souls was my first Souls game. And I got my ass kicked. I died like 242 times or something like that during the complete playthrough of Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 2, that was my second Souls game, I died probably like 40 times. I got used to the game mechanics. I got used to the system. I knew that playing the Souls games like any other action RPG stylish game is not gonna work. And then you have people saying you play the game wrong? Come on, motherfuckers, grow up. And stop fucking blaming or flaming people that fucking use magic. Let the people play how they want to play. Yeah? You sit, probably in your basements, the fucking haters and the fucking people that always bitch about people playing Souls games, You probably sit in your basement, never seen a woman in your life, and the only satisfaction that you get out of your life is to flame people because they don't fucking do it how you do it. And again, as much as I love the Dark Souls, the community, what I experienced, I don't say that everyone is like that. I don't say that everyone is like that. And every community has its bad sides. But in Dark Souls, the bad side of the community that I noticed during live streams was extremely overwhelming. And it is sad. It is fucking sad. It is sad that people that play a game that is a little bit harder than other games are getting so arrogant and put themselves on a completely different place because they think they are the champs because they play a slightly harder game than other games. No. You're not better than anyone else. You're even worse because you waste your precious lifetime in going into internet streams and fucking flaming people the way and fucking flaming people for playing it their own way and not your way. Like, I got so much flamed by people for the build that I played. Like, what kind of build is he playing? What? He put 50 points in strength? What a noob. Yeah, what a noob. I made 30 bosses almost. I made 30 bosses first try. Yeah, I'm clearly a noob because I put 50 points in strength. You probably died a lot more often than me, dude, but hey, that's a different topic. You know what I mean? Like the whole it's kind of sad that a precious game like that a wonderful series like that has such a shit community. Again, not all of them like that. There are really nice people in the Souls community, but the overall thing that you see, like the overall thing that you see from the Souls community is arrogant from the top looking down at you people that think they know it better. You know what I mean? And this is disgusting. But Dark Souls or the Souls games is obviously not the only game that has like problems like that. Pretty much every game has shit like that. And by the way, if you ask me right now which build I'm gonna play the Michael 1985 build. And the Michael 1985 build is I'm gonna put the points in what I think are best for me and not what I fucking read up on some shitty Wikipedia pages on the internet. But yeah, the Souls games definitely a series that influenced me and that gave me a lot of pleasure during the year 15. Unfortunately, most of the time that I was talking about the Souls games right now was a rant about its shitty community. So maybe I should say a little bit else about it to get that negative taste out of our mouths. Yeah, a little bit about the difficulty when it comes to Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2, pretty much a game that is getting considered as casual Souls 2. That's a good question. Like I said, I first tried almost 30 bosses. It's hard for me to say if it's easier than the first one. Because I got my ass kicked on the first one because it was new. But as soon as you know what awaits you, of course stuff gets easier, you know what I mean? The question is, would I have died as often in Dark Souls 2 if it would have been my first Dark Souls game? I don't think so. I really think there is a little bit of truth in Dark Souls 2 that it got casualized a little bit. You kind of can see it on the fucking bonfire placements. I mean, I think if you watch my YouTube playthrough right now, you pretty much see how often I kind of make jokes that every 50 meter there is a bonfire. But let's be honest, that's kind of how the game feels. And I think it really is like that. Like, I didn't have the feeling that there was as much bonfires after another in a Dark Souls than in a Dark Souls 2. And I always said it, even during my first playthrough of Dark Souls 2, that when it comes to the bosses, I think they decided to make quantity over quality. I think Dark Souls 2 without DLC has the double amount of bosses as Dark Souls 1 with DLC. So their focus clearly was to put more bosses into the game. And I would say 70% of the bosses can be defeated with pretty much the same tactics, circling around the bosses and still dodge their shit. But the circle tactic is working pretty well in Dark Souls 2. You still need to have skill, you still need to dodge shit and shit like that. It's not like that if you circle all the time, you will win instantly, but it really feels a lot easier than Dark Souls 1. At the same time, I have to say, when I played Demon's Souls, I was kind of surprised. Many people were saying to me, okay, if you play Demon's Souls, you get your ass kicked, Michael. Like, people were saying that to me, and I played Demon's Souls, and again, without putting my balls on the table, but I barely got my ass kicked. I'm sorry. And I would say, boss-wise, Demon's Souls was almost as easy as Dark Souls 2. But I think it is just the fact that after playing one Soul game or after playing two Souls games, you just know how it ticks. You just know how the game system works. You just know how to behave. You know what I mean? You just know how to behave. And I think that's really how it is. Can you blame From Software for that? No, you can't. If you get better at something, if you know how something works. I mean, if you have sex for the first time. Like, let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. Your first time having sex. Don't fucking tell me, that you were like the motherfucker and the guy that pulled it through and that your stamina was so good and that you completely satisfied the girl or woman that you had sex with. You probably didn't. The first time you had sex, like me, you were a fucking amateur not knowing what you do. You were probably afraid, a little bit nervous, you know what I mean? And you got better in it. Yeah? You get better in it. What a shitty comparison. But you know what I mean. Do you blame yourself now for getting better in giving it to women better? No, you don't. You just get better in it. And same it is with Dark Souls. I would really go so far and say that the first Souls game that you play, doesn't matter if it's Demons, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, or Bloodborne, that I obviously kind of want to put into the mix because it kind of has the same game system. The first game of its genre, of its universe, is the hardest one that you play. And if you try hard, if you learn to play by the rules of the Souls games, then it gets easier and easier, but it is still a challenge and it is still an incredible, wonderful experience. You have people saying that Dark Souls 2 is a bad game. It's not a fucking bad game. Stop saying shit like that. Dark Souls 2 is still better than 95% of other games. It is probably the worst in the Souls series. But that still makes it better than 95% of many other games that come out in the year 2015 and before. But yeah, this was my little Dark Souls or Souls rant. If you've never played the Souls games and if you are afraid because of the difficulty, again, it is not a hard game, but you just have to invest yourself a tiny bit in it. You need to learn. If you run into a boss and he one-hit kills you, you just need to have that mechanism in your brain that if you run in again the next time, that he one-hit kills you again. I don't want to flame any people. You know that I'm not a person that wants to insult or wants to fucking judge people. I'm not like that. But I saw some people playing Dark Souls or the Souls games for the first time and I was asking myself, what the fuck are you doing? Do you actually think while you play? Why are you doing the same shit all the time? If you die 20 times doing the same shit, then you will die the 21st time too instantly. Like it is just the mentality that we gamers have right now, that we put in a game and games literally play themselves without us putting in any effort. And I'm really happy that we have From Software. I'm really happy that we have From Software still going their way with the Souls series. And yes, it seems they casualized the game with Dark Souls 2 a little bit, but it was still an incredibly experience, and an experience where you needed to put a little bit of effort in. The stuff that I heard about Bloodborne, for example, seems pretty good. Many people said Bloodborne is a really tough game. And if I will ever own a PS4, what will probably not happen soon, but if I will ever own a PS4 and I still breathe to that point, I will play the shit out of Bloodborne. I want to play this game. And hell, fucking Dark Souls 3 is coming out soon. So I'm really looking forward to it. And if I'm still breathing at this point, I will make a fucking blind playthrough of Dark Souls 3 on this shitty channel. You heard it here first. But yeah, again, the Souls series, a wonderful series, probably my most favorite series within the last 10 years, maybe even longer. Again, I was kind of shit-talking, not really shit-talking, I was kind of criticizing the community of the Souls games a bit. I don't want it to offend anyone that is not an idiot in the community, so if you are actually a Souls player and you are not like many other people by flaming people in how they play, by demanding people to play it like you, if you're not like that, I don't want to insult you or anything. I know that not all people in the Souls community are fucking idiots. I know that. Every community has idiots. Every community has awesome people. But unfortunately, with the Souls community, you kind of see the idiots more than the smart people. But yeah, the Souls games, double thumbs up. Really, double thumbs up. Not really a game of the year for 2015, but I played Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 1 near 2015, so I definitely wanted to mention the series. Wonderful series. I'm addicted to it. And again, shameless plug. I'm doing a shieldless playthrough without magic, without summons, up to New Game Plus 7 right now on this shitty channel. If I will ever reach New Game Plus 7 is another topic, but yeah, at least I try. And I would have to say the playthrough is not going too bad, ladies and gentlemen. But you can see that yourself by just clicking to the playlist here on this shitty channel and check out the playthrough. So, we're done with the Souls games. I'm looking at my recording right now and we're over 90 minutes already, and I'm thinking about splitting this feature in half. Because I'm pretty sure I can still talk for like 2 more hours. Yeah, I will continue a little bit, and the chance is pretty high that this feature will get split in half, and the first part is getting uploaded on the 30th, like today when you hear it, or you can probably hear this like 5 years later, and the second part is getting uploaded on the 31st. I think I'm gonna do it like that because I am not even nearly done, and yeah, I don't want to produce like a 5-hour video. I mean, you can stop it and shit like that, but yeah, there's still so much for me to talk about. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I was saying that on the Ubisoft video, I would really enjoy to do a podcast style thing one time with like a partner or something like that. But for that, you obviously need people that really want to do this, that really have something to say. Maybe I'm gonna ask around some people and ask if they want to try to record something with me at one point. But yeah, it would be really nice if there would be like a double team going on here, that you don't only have to hear my shitty voice or something like that. But yeah, right now, I'm doing this single. Right now, I hope this is not too terrible. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that you don't sleep in, because let's be honest, if you hear my voice, it is completely impossible to sleep in. Okay. We have Dark Souls done. Let me actually look at my Steam database here, what I played. It's kind of really sad that, you know, I have to look up some stuff. I mean, I still know games that I want to talk about, but I kind of want to talk about games that I don't remember that much anymore and that I don't have anything, or that I don't have, to talk about for like 500 hours. Like Life is Strange is, for example, a game I am probably gonna go pretty much. Now, I will probably not even go too much into detail there because I don't want to spoil the story. Would be the worst. And obviously, I don't only want to talk about games. I want to talk about stuff that happened in the gaming industry. I want to talk about stuff that was bad in the gaming industry. I want to talk about bad games, but I think I will probably do that in the second part. The bad games, at least. There was like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, 5, not 4, ladies and gentlemen. Just to name one. Or how bad the port of Batman Arkham Knight was for PC. But that is obviously a topic I'm gonna get later to. Well, another big game that came out, I kind of want to honorable mention it, but I can't fucking say anything to it, is The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 seemed to be an extremely incredible game. When it comes to Game of the Year awards, it got a lot of awards. I can't say anything to it. The Witcher 3 is a game that I ignored so far because of the time. It's a fucking 100-hour game, isn't it? It's probably a 200-hour game if you want to see anything. And with the amount of time that I play games right now, I will take like 4 months for a 200-hour game. Like, I play like video games 2 or 3 hours a day. And let's say even if Witcher is only 100 hours long, 3 hours a day, yeah, that would be a month for me that I stand on The Witcher. Like, I'm playing Persona 4 Golden at the moment again. Well, I only played Persona 4 on PlayStation 2, and I'm kind of replaying the Golden version. And I'm like 80 hours in or something like that, and I started the game like in November. And we have almost January right now. I just can't sit down anymore for 8 hours and just play a game. 8 hours without a break. You know what I mean? I just can't. And when it comes to really long games, yeah, I kind of ignore them. I kind of try to not play them because they just take so much time investment. I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 5 so far. This is obviously a game where people would say, oh, you played Metal Gear Solid 5, did you? No, I didn't. I don't know when I will play it. The whole thing about that Metal Gear Solid 5 has the weakest story was kind of killing my horniness of the game. Gameplay-wise and stealth-wise and sneaking-wise, it seems to be one of the best games of its genre. But for me, Metal Gear Solid was mostly living through the story. And after I heard that the story is kind of the biggest bad point of Metal Gear Solid 5, I kind of didn't lose interest, but, I didn't play that one. And yeah, The Witcher, I actually have The Witcher 3 because Pompey 606, I have no idea if that motherfucker sees this audio cast here right now, but he actually gifted it to me via GOG.com. I actually have The Witcher 3 sitting right in front of me, but again, time-wise, I'm just too afraid to start it. Well, a little nice multiplayer game came out on PlayStation 4 on Steam that I played a lot. And that game was Rocket League, ladies and gentlemen. Rocket League, the sequel to a game on PlayStation 3 that was, how was it called? Power Battled Athletic Cars or whatever, I have no idea. But when Rocket League hit the shelves, or at least the digital shelves, the hype was big, and let's be honest, the fun was big too. Many people, me, Brooks, Trigger, Pompey, Samson of Spite, I'm sorry if I missed some people that played with us now, but yeah, we played the shit out of Rocket League. I think within the first 4 or 5 days we played it like 30 to 40 hours. The problem is, after these 30 to 40 hours, At least for me, it was done. I think it's the overall example of if you overplay something, you kill it. And within a week, we played like 40 hours, and then at least from my side, I think the other guys still played it here and there, but from my side, it was instantly dead. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad game. I think Rocket League is an incredibly fun game to play. It doesn't matter if you play it competitive, what I personally think only 1% of people play it competitive, or casually. It is extremely fun to play casually if you fucking sit in TeamSpeak, Skype, or whatever with a bunch of people and just fucking play it. And it is incredibly fun. It is incredibly fun. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad, you know. It doesn't matter if you get your ass kicked or if you kick the ass of the other team. Obviously, the most amount of fun you get out if you have a close match, if you have even teams on both sides. But Rocket League is a wonderful experience. It runs well. Well, the console version seems to have frame rate issues or only run with 30 FPS. I personally think Rocket League is a game that needs 60 FPS. It's just a fucking 60 FPS game because of its nature. But I had a lot of fun with Rocket League. I at least wanted to mention it. I was never really good in it. I think I don't really have any air control over my car or something like that. But for me, as a casual Rocket League player, for the time that I played the game, I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm gonna make a teaser right now. I don't know if it happens, ladies and gentlemen. But on Christmas Eve, I'm gonna spend the night or the day with two beautiful people, and that's Trigger and Brooks. We're gonna sit in front of our PCs because, hell, I at least have nowhere to go, and you know, Trigger and Brooks sit there with me too, and we gonna get some alcohol. I actually have some. What is this? Bacardi. I actually have some rum sitting right next to me. And I'm gonna make some nice Cuba Libre, I think the drink is called. And I don't think that we three will just sit in TeamSpeak and talk all the time. The chance is high that we play some drunk Rocket League. And I'm gonna make a promise, ladies and gentlemen. If we play drunk Rocket League, I will make sure to record a bunch of it. And I don't know. It depends how bad it gets, okay? It really depends how bad it gets, and I have to ask Brooks and Trigger if they want to be on YouTube in a state like this. But kind of expect Rocket League videos with Michael 1985, Trigger 14, and Brooks 2000 being drunk. We will see. It depends how bad it gets. Like, if you say bad things on a live stream once in a while, like, you know, the N-words, or if you make, like, jokes about 9/11, you know what I mean. And if you do it on a stream, it's kind of different if you do it on a video that you upload on a platform. So, we have to see how bad the conversations will get, and if I can upload that stuff on YouTube. But if it's not getting that bad and I get the okay from Brooks and from Trigger, there will definitely be some drunk Rocket League footage on this fucking channel. But guys, please don't expect us playing like pros, and don't expect a series. I don't think that I will make a series. It will be the Christmas Eve New Year special, what will be uploaded a lot later, obviously, because of the rendering and everything. I'm not gonna use OBS anymore, because let's be honest, if you fucking record for YouTube and you use OBS, you're throwing away quality potential. So I obviously recorded with DxStory and everything. that you have the best possible amount of quality. Plus, I always upscale my 1080p videos to 2K, that it gets a better bitrate on YouTube. So the New Year's special would probably come online like 1, 2, or 3 days later. Like, it takes a long time, even with a fucking i7, to render videos in a really, really high quality. But yeah, that was Rocket League. Definitely a game that I wanted to mention. Yeah, PC-wise. I played Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Not much to say there. I think it came out for PC in 2015. Shantae is a little Metroidvania-ish side-scrolling series by WayForward. You play a genie or a half genie, and it's pretty much like Metroid. You get new items. These items make you able to go into new areas and stuff like that. There's not much to say about that, but I personally am a big fan of the Shantae or the Shantae, I don't know how you pronounce it, series. The first game came out for the Game Boy Color, one of the most expensive and rare Game Boy Color cartridges that you can get at this point, but I think the first game got re-released on the 3DS Virtual Console, that you don't have to fucking pay ridiculous amount of prices for the first Shantae game on the Game Boy Color. Let me actually look up eBay for now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Game Boy Color version is like... Damn, that's cheaper than I expected. Well, I only find one listing right now of a version without a box, but someone is selling Shantae for Game Boy Color for $21. What is pretty cheap. But I'm pretty sure that the price obviously dropped by a lot since Shantae came out on the Nintendo Network for 3DS Virtual Console. But yeah, there is not really an awful lot to talk about the game. It's your standard Metroidvania side-scroller made by WayForward. WayForward definitely knows how to make 2D games. WayForward are people that, for example, did the remaster version of DuckTales. They made the Mighty Switch Force games. They made Double Dragon Neon, a pretty okay game too. They definitely know what they do. But yeah, Shantae definitely worth a mention. I played Oceanhorn, and with Oceanhorn, I spent a lot of time. What is Oceanhorn? Well, first, Oceanhorn is an iOS game, or it was an iOS game that got ported to PC. I mean, we saw a lot of iOS games getting ported within the last 1 till 2 years to PC. And Oceanhorn is pretty much a 100% Zelda ripoff, people would say. Like, seriously, it is 100% Zelda on iOS and PC. It is actually more a Zelda Wind Waker than any other Zelda. You have a boat that you can't really drive freely around the world, but you have the same gameplay mechanics. You get bombs, you can open hidden stuff with that, you get a sword, you get a shield. With the boat you can upgrade later that you can shoot things. It is pretty much a one-on-one. It's a one-on-one copy of a Zelda game with nice looking graphics, I have to say. I mean, it's an iOS port, but they upped the graphics by a lot, I have to say. And it is not really hard, and it is probably not really noteworthy. And even if I say it is like a Zelda, it clearly doesn't reach the class of a Zelda, of a classic Zelda. I would say Oceanhorn is 10 times better than the newest Zelda game that came out for the 3DS, Triforce Heroes, what I personally think is a terrible Zelda game. But yeah, if you want to play a Zelda-style game on PC, and let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have much of them, Oceanhorn is the way to go. It has nice bosses, and again, the gameplay mechanics are exactly the same. You have an overworld, you go into dungeons. In these dungeons, you find chests. In every dungeon, In every dungeon you find a key item, there are doors that are closed, and you find little keys in these chests. It's exactly Zelda. The main character doesn't really have charisma, and the story is not really that interesting either. But if you want to play a little nice Zelda clone that keeps you up for a little bit, let me actually look on my Steam how long I played Oceanhorn. Maybe 12, 15 hours? Yeah, 15 hours. I think I played it 100%. You get 15 hours worth of fun gameplay out of it. Like, seriously, it is a fun game, but don't expect the class of an Zelda. But because we PC guys don't have Zelda, it is one of the games that is nearest to a classic Zelda experience. Let me drink something, ladies and gentlemen. I could just fucking cut it out, but hell, fuck cutting. I think no one is pissed if I don't say anything for 5 seconds, and if you hear me swallowing something. Speaking about iOS ports, another game that really crapped me was Republic or Republic, made by Camouflage Software. And yeah, like I said, the game is called Republic, and it is another iOS port. And what is the game about? The game is about a woman that pretty much lives in a state that is completely under a surveillance system. I think you call it a surveillance state. I can't really say an awful lot about the story because it is and I don't want to say it because in my opinion it's the main key point. But I can't even really say that much about it because it is an episodic release, and the game, up until I played it, only had 3 out of 5 episodes released. Episode 4 got released in December, I think, and I still need to play episode 4 that I really look forward to because the end of episode 3 was stunning. And in my personal opinion, it's a game that gets completely carried by its story and by the bits that you find out about the story. How does the game play? Well, the game is a stealth game, I would say. You are pretty much a guy behind a camera, and you switch from camera to another camera, and you tell your character what to do. Many people flame this concept that you don't have direct control over her. It is kind of a point and clickish thing. You have to switch from camera to camera, what means if you direct your character to go around a corner and you don't switch to the next camera, it's not getting automatically switched, and many people are flaming this concept because I don't know, maybe they are too lazy to switch from camera to camera. The gameplay itself is really limited. I mean, you have like stealth mechanisms there where you have patrols that you have to get rid of, to neutralize. There is a lot to find in terms of backstory and reading. If you want to involve yourself or invest yourself into the story of a republic, you need to make sure to look for everything and to read a lot. It's a really slow-paced game, but the whole atmosphere that the game is about, and again, I can't really and I don't really want to say anything about the story, but at that point where I can't even really tell you what is going on. It is a really interesting experience. There was a game already that kind of had the same gameplay where you needed to steer a character behind a camera system. I think it was called Emergency something. But Republic Again, a game that was an iPhone release but got ported to the PC is an interesting experience, and if you look for something that is a slow-paced game but has at least for me, appealing and interesting story, and if you don't have anything against episodic content, because at this date the game is not finished, 4 out of 5 episodes are out, Republic is definitely a good game to play. Like, seriously, it is a nice experience. It is a pretty slow game. Again, it is point and click ish, but it is extremely rewarding. And after I was done with episode 3, I was like, oh my god, you're shitting me, are you? Like, yeah. And if a game does it with you, that if you are done playing the game and you have to wait for another episode, and you're like, oh, bullshit, that pretty much proves already that the game was worth it for yourself if you have that feeling. Yeah. It came out in 2015. So, yeah. Finally a game that I was able to talk about that actually came out in the year 2015. And with that, like, game-wise, at least not bad games-wise or whatever, I think I'm almost done. No, I'm not done. Titan Souls, ladies and gentlemen. Titan Souls got a lot of bad heat after its release. Let me talk about Titan Souls in general right now. Titan Souls was kind of advertised as a mix between Dark Souls and Shadow of the Colossus. And let's be honest, I wouldn't even disagree. What is Titan Souls about? Titan Souls is like, how do you put it? You have an overhead perspective. Like it's not third person, it's not first person, it's an overhead perspective like the classic GTAs or something like that. You see your character from the overhead perspective, and the goal is that in Titan Souls to finish a certain amount of bosses, and that's pretty much it. You have a world in this game, but this world is empty. It was a design decision of the creator to make this world empty. It is not because he was a fucking lazy bastard or anything like that. The design decision is that you are a character in a world that is empty, and the only thing that you have to do in this game is to fight bosses. Kind of like there you have the comparison to a Shadow of the Colossus, where the only thing that you needed to do in Shadow of the Colossus was, I think, to kill 14 or 15 Colossi. I think you say that, the plural or whatever. No idea. You know what I mean. And the Dark Souls comparison came because the game is hard. Pretty much you have one arrow as the main character, and the bosses are one-hit kills. But you are yourself a one-hit kill too. What means if you go to a boss, you need to find the weak spot, and you have exactly one shot to hit that weak spot. If you miss the weak spot, that's not a problem. You can actually get your arrow back and try again to hit the weak spot. But the game is extremely trial and error. But I had a lot of fun with the game. It is extremely hard. Trying to find out some of the weak spot of the bosses takes a while. But the game is extremely rewarding, and the overall atmosphere of Titan Souls is pretty well done. It's definitely worth a play if you like Dark Souls and Shadow of the Colossus, and if you like hard and rewarding gameplay. You can't really obviously compare it 100% to both games. Just look up screenshots or a video and you will see what it gets you if you decide to try it out. But let me say for sure, besides you running around a world and beating bosses, there's nothing else to do in this game. This is pretty much a boss rush game as Shadow of the Colossus was. But it has a pretty nice atmosphere, and it is extremely rewarding to play. Depending on your skill and depending how fast you can, get used to a game like this, the game is not awfully long, I have to say. I think I was done with my first playthrough after like 2.5 hours. What is maybe a little bit too less for a 15 euro game. It depends. I got a lot of fun out of it. You unlock certain other modes, like you have a dodge, for example. You can dodge enemy attacks, and I think there's an achievement or a mode where they completely take away the dodge feature, what makes the game extremely hard. But yeah, if you want to have a fast-paced game that is rewarding, where you have to use your brain meat a little bit to find out where the weak spots are of the bosses. I mean, some bosses actually show the weak spots pretty fast, and you pretty easily see how the weak spot is, but sometimes you have to think about the way and how to get the weak spot, because the bosses are fast, the bosses run around and shit like that. It is an extremely rewarding game that everyone should play, that kind of likes Dark Souls and Shadow of the Colossus, I would say. Unfortunately, the game got a lot of feed. There was a YouTube incident going on. It seems that one of the visual artists, and not the developer itself, I'm not 100% sure here right now. There is dangerous half knowledge going on here right now. But it seems that someone from the team of Titan Souls had kind of beef with Total Biscuit, and Total Biscuit then decided to not make a video about Titan Souls. I think Total Biscuit was saying anything on Twitter about the game, and one of the artists of the game, not the developer itself, was pissed off by what Total Biscuit said. Total Biscuit probably didn't mean it in any offensive way, but the artists, that guy that worked on the game, felt offended and kind of, flamed him a little bit, if I remember it correctly. And of course, because of the reach that the TB has, the game on its actual release got overwhelmed with downvotes and bad stuff and bad reviews on Steam and shit like that. So yeah, the initial release PR that the game got was extremely bad. And of course, if you have people like, this is one thing that I think is always extremely dangerous. People, it is always good. Like, there is nothing wrong. I mean, you fucking hear what I have to say. It is wonderful that we can all voice our opinion. But it gets dangerous at the point where it doesn't matter whose opinion you hear. It is extremely dangerous that if you just take the opinion of someone. Like, if I say to you that a game is mega awesome, and you just blindly follow my saying that the game is mega awesome without even trying it out yourself, you do a big error. You should never do something like that. And the downvotes and the bad shit that came of Titan Souls of the game were obviously of people that are diehard fans and whatever. They didn't even try it out themselves or whatever. You know what I mean? They just hated on the game because there was a little bit of beef going on between Total Biscuit and I think the artist of the game. But overall itself, without the beef, without the bad press that the game got, and let's be honest, the artist or the person that actually had beef with TB did a big error. I mean, Total Biscuit's videos, his WTF is videos are getting like 300 till 400,000 views per video. They lost an awful lot of potential buyers because of that beef. And yeah, that was obviously kind of a bad thing that happened with the game. But I clearly didn't really understand. It shows again that the hate on the internet is big. And by the way, this is me not having beef with Total Biscuit or something like that. I just wanted to tell you guys about the thing that happened. I can totally understand after what happened that the Total Biscuit said, yeah, okay, after what you said to me right now, I can't make an honest first look of the game anymore. You know what I mean? If someone flames you and you want to give the game an honest first look or an honest review, but you know a person that is connected with the game fucking showed you the middle finger, you can't make an honest review or first look about the game anymore. That is totally normal. But yeah, this obviously gave the game a lot of bad press, a lot of bad PR, and a lot of hate at the beginning. But as I see right now on Steam, like, I give a shit about the customer reviews, but the game is now overwhelmingly or very positive rated, and I think the game clearly deserves this very positive rating because it is a fun to play game. Titan Souls, another game that I played in 2015, and definitely another game that is worth to check out. And I'm pretty sure I forgot stuff already, ladies and gentlemen, but I think if I don't see anything particular, and well, I will just continue then on the second part that I can add there, then I will probably stop this video for now. I mean, I played a bunch of indie games. I don't know if there is any in it that is really worth mentioning. We have Undertale. I will probably generate a lot of hate with my opinion to Undertale. I'm a little bit afraid about that, but I'm gonna tease you with that. I'm gonna do that on the second part of the video. I'm gonna go through the list right now. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Life is Strange. I'm gonna talk about Life is Strange in the second part of the video because this is another game that I have a lot to say about. Oh, yeah, Mega Man Legacy Collection, of course. Yeah, what is the Mega Man Legacy Collection? The Mega Man Legacy Collection is pretty much a re-release of Mega Man 1 till 6 for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. I don't want to talk too much about the Mega Man Legacy Collection. The collection itself got a lot of hate because it only includes Mega Man 1 till 6. 10 years ago, there was like a game coming out for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox Classic that was called the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. And this collection actually had Mega Man 1 till 8 in it, plus 2 bonus Mega Man games. What means that the collection that came out 10 years ago had more content than the collection that came out in the year 2015. Otherwise, I have to say, me as a PC player, and this pretty much being the first real Mega Man, there were Mega Man games on PC already, but let's be honest, besides emulation, you were not able to play Mega Man 1 till 6 in its NES version. There was a really bad, I think, Mega Man 3 release on PC in the 90s, but this one is not needing to be mentioned. And the Legacy Collection was pretty okay. Hell, you got Mega Man 1 till 6 for a fair price. I think it was $14.99. You got like a bonus challenge mode that I was pretty disappointed in because there was no love put into this bonus challenge mode. Of course, you had your boss rush going on and shit like that. And you had like Mega Man remix levels where you had like 50 challenges or something like that where you just needed to go through a level under time pressure to get a good rating. That remixed levels from Mega Man 1 till 6. There was no new level design or something like that. But overall, I would say that the Mega Man Legacy Collection is definitely worth a buy if you are into the Mega Man franchise, and it's worth a buy as a PC player, in my opinion. This is the first official release of Mega Man 1 till 6. Yes, many people could say right now, why buying it? Just fucking play it on emulator. Yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, emulator in itself, if you don't own a game, is still piracy. Yes, we know, or I know, that emulation of 20-year-old or 25-year-old games is kind of a gray zone at the moment. But one thing that they really did well in the Mega Man Legacy Collection is the whole bonus section with artworks. There is a lot of artworks to see that you all saw. Like Capcom brought out a book, like an artwork book at one point that I think is pretty expensive right now. And most of the book, these artworks are in the Mega Man Legacy Collection as a digital counterpart. And if you are a little bit interested when it comes to the Mega Man history, the Mega Man Legacy Collection is definitely a good way to go. Yes, it feels a little bit of a lazy job at times. They could have put more effort into it. But me personally, I'm really happy that Mega Man got an official PC release, what just shows how important, or how much more important, the PC as a platform gets again in the video game industry. How often did we hear, like a few years ago, the PC as a gaming platform is dead? Hell no. The PC as a gaming platform, especially in the year 2015, is incredibly strong. But I will probably make an audio feature about that at another point at one day. But yeah, the Mega Man Legacy Collection is definitely worth a buy. But I have to say right now, Capcom doing a dick move. I don't know if you can call that a dick move or something like that, but obviously at the day of the recording there is a Christmas sale going on, and the Mega Man Legacy Collection is not reduced in price at all. I mean, they don't have to do this, obviously, and let's be honest, judging a company by deciding to not make it on sale is kind of questionable. But, yeah. That this game is not on sale, maybe that shows a little bit that some companies are probably not doing as well anymore in the gaming industry as they want you to think how they do. I personally have the opinion anyway that how these publishers and how the gaming press wants you to think how the gaming industry is doing, like they want you to think the gaming industry is still booming, is still flourishing, is still going well. No, ladies and gentlemen, the gaming industry is not doing well at this point. But I'm gonna go in depth about that in another feature too. Like the gaming industry is doing well for certain publishers and for certain gaming franchises. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about that at another point. Yeah, that was the Mega Man Legacy Collection. And I would say with that, like seriously, I have to find an ending here. And again, there will be a second part of this video, of this audio thing, where I will probably talk about some more games, good and bad, in the second part of this audio thingy here. I kind of want to concentrate myself on a few more good games that I really enjoyed, but the main focus I kind of want to put on the industry. We talked about games, so I talked about games. How was the industry doing in 2015? How was the behavior of publishers? How were we gamers doing in 2015? You know what I mean? I kind of want to put the focus on that topic with the next second part. I actually only wanted to make one part, but yeah, I'm talking since almost 2 hours and 20 minutes already, and I'm halfway done. And I think, yeah, talking 5 hours in a row is a little bit too much, and I need a little break. But yeah, I want to talk about the industry a little bit. I want to talk about Steam. Yeah, Steam obviously is the holy grail of everything. I personally think what Steam did with its behavior about the security issues that they had a few days back is pathetic. But I'm gonna talk about that on the next part. But hey, if you are the holy grail and if everyone says that you are the best ever, you obviously don't have to apologize to people on your official platform, do you? But yeah, again, this on the next part of this little feature. Like I said, I'm gonna talk about the industry. I'm gonna talk especially about the bad things that happened in the year 2015. I'm gonna talk about stuff that me obviously affected in some way. I just say the Shenmue 3 announcement. And we're gonna talk about bad games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, for example. I want to talk about the Batman Arkham Knight incident on PC. There's still a lot to talk about, and I'm pretty sure I can easily fill 2 hours with that shit. So I would say I fucking lost my thing here. I'm blind. There we go. So without further ado, I would say I'm gonna pull the plug on this audio feature. We are halfway done. I'm gonna upload this audio feature as fast as possible. And the continuation of, I have no fucking idea how I call this, Michael 9 of, I think I just call it like Michael 1985's end of the year gaming discussion or something like that. I think that's not that bad of a thing. But you will see it when it's online. If you survived it until here again, thank you very much for listening. Tomorrow there will probably another 2-hour part like this, but then I think my personal end of the year discussion, conversation, whatever, will be over. Thank you very much for holding up until now, and I will see you on part 2 of Michael 1985's end of the year 2015 gaming discussion. Bye bye.